From the alternative to the mainstream. From the ridiculous to the sublime. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basil and Mark.
Super smooth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Good morning, Basil.
I was going to say good evening, Mark, but good morning will be fine.
Morning, evening, it's all good. Nobody knows what time it is
Just
anyway.
thought with after hours, it's more of sort of an evening affair. And
good evening.
we're kicking our shoes off for the evening and smoking our pipes.
Independently and not in the same room in any kind of homoerotic fashion at all.
Not like Eric and Ernie living
Eric and Ernie, yeah. There was something going on there with Eric and Ernie. A bit like Batman and Robin.
You reckon?
Don't know.
They did sleep in the same bed.
They did.
There was Eric and Ernie.
Did Batman and Robin sleep in the same bed?
No,
right,
no.
okay.
Eric and the other two were classified as homosexual.
Who?
Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
Ah.
I think it's now accepted that they were.
Yes.
They were in a relationship.
That is the consensus, isn't it? Good grief.
Okay.
Right, I've got a little group of things here, some funnies. I've got some on this days, I've got some topics, and I've got 2 top 5s. I'll let you start.
Well, Paul Gershio from Project Merlin, we spoke to there
Yes.
on the last show during the week.
Yes. Continuity. Recently.
He dug up a memory in me.
Did he?
I had
A regressed childhood memory.
yeah. I had
Does this involve a man with a dog collar?
he regressed me
Oh, right.
to my alien abduction experience.
Oh. Go on.
Lived through the medium of television through completely other people in a movie that I saw when I was
What
a kid.
a loser. Go on.
Based on the UFO incident of 1961.
The UFO incident, that's not very specific.
It's called the UFO incident, and I think it must be one of the first. I think it's one of the first times that anybody went public to say that they had been abducted by aliens.
Go on. We're gonna get some people on the main show actually to talk
We've
about
had a very
abductions.
special message from a very special lady.
We've had a very special
Do
message.
you want to mention that before I go any
No,
further?
no. We'll just leave it.
Well, the UFO incident happened in 1961.
Mm-hmm.
It was an American couple called Betty and Barney Hill.
Yes.
What was unusual about them, not only were they coming out, at a peculiar time, 1961 America,
Yeah.
to say that they'd been abducted by aliens. Now, they didn't particularly go public. They didn't really want
Yeah.
a media storm, but, it happened.
Yes.
And also the thing about them, they're an interracial couple.
Ah.
So Barney was
Well,
actually...
in 1961, that would probably still have been quite unusual, would it?
yeah, oh gosh, wow.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
it would have been, wouldn't
Well,
it?
Barney was a postal worker,
Right.
African American, and Betty was a social worker.
Oh.
They claimed to be abducted by aliens in New Hampshire on September the 19th to the 20th, 1961,
Yeah.
returning home from some vacation or something.
19th of the 20th?
19th to the 20th. So at some
Of
point,
what month?
September.
Oh, have you checked the diary?
No, because this is UFOs. This is totally... I'm not going to bring the satanic calendar into this one.
'Tis the autumn equinox, but carry on.
Oh, well, fair enough. And the film then that came out a bit later that I saw
Yeah.
was called, unsurprisingly, the UFO incident from 1975.
Yeah. Go on.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Is it going anywhere, this?
Kind of and kind of not.
Oh, go on then. You're going crescendo.
I think
Why don't you?
it was 1975.
Yes.
And it was about a UFO abduction, based on real events, may I point out, and they'd been brought to hypnotists and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it was all recorded, they were hypnotized and they went through what had happened individually, independently of each other, and gave the same details. I mean, they've still been called frauds and everything else.
Yes.
And delusional. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, under hypnosis.
Yeah.
Okay? But the main actor, I think, is quite interesting, was James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. He played the postman.
Future voice of Darth Vader.
Ah, yes. I'm James Earl Jones.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on from that.
Yes.
Yes, there was another thing. I knew it was going somewhere.
Oh, go on.
I knew it was going somewhere. From their descriptions.
You realised you have got a point.
Oh God, yeah.
God help us.
I've just read it here.
God save everybody. Basil's got a point.
God save the Queen. Listen to this.
Go on.
This is 1961. From their description of who abducted them.
Right.
There was an artist called David C. Baker.
Ah.
A friend of Paul Gershio, our friend Paul Gershio.
Yes, we heard mention of him.
And the illustration was what is now famous as the Grey.
Yeah, he defined, or should I say they defined, and he drew the first picture of the classic grey alien.
And this is the very first description of the alien Grey.
I'd say that particular sketch is worth a small fortune if you could get your hands on it.
Oh, I'd say so. So when I say grey, ladies and gentlemen, what I mean is a little grey, puny body and a giant head and the big black eyes.
Almond black eyes and the teardrop-shaped heads.
Boy, thanks for that, Mark. Well, also, yes, James Earl Jones went on to play the voice of Darth Vader.
The voice, but not the actual Darth Vader. That was the Green Cross Code Man.
Exactly. What have you got on your block, Mark?
I can't remember the name of the Green Cross Code Man. Can you remember his name?
Yeah, David Prowse.
David Prowse, that was it, yeah.
One of the tallest men in Britain.
Was he really?
Was strong man. He was a strong man.
He was, yeah. Do you know what I've got?
God, anything. Save us.
I talked last time about the MI6 incident thing in London, where the guy had put himself in a bag. You mentioned it just before we came on air.
Yeah,
he managed to kill himself, lock himself in a bag, then turn up the heating so that he decomposed and got rid of any DNA evidence. Which is some hell of a feat, to be honest.
That's for sure.
That is an elaborate suicide.
Mm-hmm.
He also managed to lock himself in a bag from the outside.
Yep.
Which is, wow, that's remarkable. What I wanted to say, and this is what spurred me on last time to talk about it, but I completely forgot my own point. On the news, they kept saying this man put him, it was in a bag and he, killed himself, or the coroner said it was, highly unlikely that he did it. The news, and all of the news agencies did this, they kept saying, we suspect, and the coroner did it, we kept saying, we suspect a third person was involved.
In a suicide?
Think about this logically.
Yeah.
If I kill you, you're the first person, I'm the second person. So if this guy was killed even, that's still only two people. Why were the news talking about the third person?
Yeah, what on earth did they mean by that?
That means they knew that there was at least two.
Wow.
And they all did it. They all said it. The coroner said it, the news said it, they all said it. The third person. One person's dead, one person killed them. Who the hell is the third person? And how do you know they exist if you don't know who they are?
And there was no follow-up to that on the...
No, I think it was a little bit of a slip-up or something, but how can you have a third person?
Hey, I know you didn't put a lot of emphasis on this thing I'm going to say, but it's just a story that came up there about 2 or 3 months ago in the Express and the Mirror in the United Kingdom, the United Kingdom papers. It's just about those two bodies that were found on the Queen's estate. Oh,
they were dug up. They'd been there some time, hadn't they?
I didn't think they had. I felt they had been sort of left out in the open.
Wasn't Balmoral? It was Sandringham. Sandringham Estate.
Sandringham Estate.
I thought they'd been there for years.
No, I didn't think they'd been there for years at all.
They kind of alluded to that being the case. They didn't say a lot.
Well, they didn't say a lot, and I think they were foreign national. Well, how would they know they were foreign national? But I think they were foreign national of some kind. But it's just a story that came up and disappeared.
Buried.
Just no follow-up.
The news have been doing that a lot lately.
We never found out any more details about how they got there. I mean, fair enough, Mark. You said to me that maybe somebody drove by and dumped them into the field. That could happen.
Could happen.
But why weren't we informed?
But if you've ever driven past a royal estate, and I used to live right next door to one in London, they've all got 15-foot walls around them.
Yeah, so pretty hard to sling a body over.
Very hard to sling a body over, and I assume they were buried. I don't know if they were found. I thought they were dug up.
Yeah, maybe they were dug up. I know, I'm not... That'd be even more interesting, if they were dug up.
Even less likely.
Yeah.
But no mention of it. You would think that if somebody got charged, or arrested or searched or whatever, you would think they'd mention that just because of the royal connection.
Because the royal connection was huge. I mean, it's the royals are always news when they put on a new pair of shoes or a hat.
Yeah, exactly.
And you find 2 bodies on their estate.
Not in the news.
And not another word about it.
You know what the motto is of the news agencies these days? No news is good news.
It's cognitive dissonance.
Keep saying it. One day you'll understand it.
And actually, speaking of things hidden in plain view, or I'm going to go back to the Nazis again. We were talking there on the last show. No, we just
always with the Nazis. It always goes back to the Nazis.
Do you know what? It's not me.
It's cyclical.
It's who we're talking to.
Are you mixing in Nazi circles?
They keep bringing up Nazis every time we have a guest on. It's not my choice.
They do, actually.
They do.
In fairness, they keep bringing up the Nazis.
Every time we do a bit of research, a Nazi will pop up somewhere.
We could start looking into people who disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle and there'd be a Nazi connection.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, probably the most famous, let's say, Nazi at the moment is
the Pope?
Joseph Ratzinger.
I was right.
Yeah,
Yay!
Pope
one
Benedict.
for me. Yep.
It's undeniable, his brown shirt roots.
Complete Nazi.
And we were discussing there, last week. We were saying, maybe we were being a bit cruel, but we were saying once a Nazi, always a Nazi.
I think that's probably right, in most cases anyway.
And kind of the point I was making to you, I was saying, well, if that was me, I'd like to think in World War II or even World War III that I'd be taking my chances with the good guys.
Yeah, my money's on them.
I wouldn't have go along to get along with the bad guys.
No, that wouldn't be my path.
Like he did.
Yeah.
And speaking of famous folk who you probably wouldn't imagine had a Nazi history.
Yes.
There's one of the general secretaries of the UN, United Nations, from, let me see here. Yeah. Fourth General Secretary of the UN from 1972 to 1981. What is that? It's nearly 10 years.
20 years ago? 30 years ago.
Kurt Waldheim.
Yeah.
Another ex-Nazi.
Bona fide ex-Nazi?
You go onto the Wikipedia page. I mean, they dance around it and skirt around it in every way you can imagine. But yes, he was on their side, not ours.
Yeah,
he wasn't on the side of good.
But so were most of the German cabinet ministers post World War II.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of them were Nazi people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they couldn't tie them to a concentration camp, they walked away.
Yeah, but hey, Mark, they didn't become Secretary General of the United Nations, mate.
No, true.
And this Kurt Waldheim, you may not know him, but he was a great. He had a very famous admirer, one Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Did he really?
Yes.
And famous admirer how? How do you know he was an admirer?
Because he mentions
Did he stalk him or something?
Well, no, he mentions it himself. I mean, they were photographed together. They had dinner together.
They were buddies.
They were buddies.
Oh,
in every way. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is quite a sympathetic leanings, apparently, judging by his swastika belt buckle that he wears with enormous pride.
I've heard mention of that before. Yeah, of course he's from Austria. Same as Hitler.
He's from Austria.
Not that really kind of puts them all in the same thing, because obviously there's lots of nice people.
Strangely enough, I mean, I tell you, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure that Schwarzenegger's father was also some kind of a police officer in Germany or something like that.
Don't know that, to be honest.
Yeah, because I read his autobiography, which isn't very detailed, actually.
Ah.
Schwarzenegger is...
Does it start the day he landed in America kind of thing?
No, it starts in Austria.
Oh, right.
But it's pretty bland.
Ah.
Pretty bland stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of Schwarzenegger and the type of bloke he probably is...
Oh, go on.
Have you ever seen...
Link.
Ever seen the movie Pumping Iron?
Pumping Up, Pumping Iron, as the theme tune goes.
I found it very hard to get a hold of.
Oh, really? Just go to any gay movie store. They've got it in all of them.
Yeah, well, I don't...
Try your local gay video shop.
I've seen a few clips on YouTube.
They've probably got a special aisle.
Yeah, I bet, yeah. He did gay porn as well. He did gay porn...
Oh, are you sure about that?
He did gay porn pictures.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
To make money, because when he came from Austria to America...
If Schwarzenegger's lawyers are listening, then Basil said that.
He's... Oh, wow. Oh, let them sue me. What are they going to sue me for?
What can they take?
Yeah, what can they take?
Your nice headphones.
The government hasn't already taken off of me. But yeah, I think he did a few homoerotic photographs to make a bit of money, because he landed on Muscle Beach. Do you know what Muscle Beach is?
Is that in California?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there, yeah. No, I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
So I'm just thinking of Schwarzenegger there, and this movie, Pumping Iron, I got a bit curious about it.
With his trunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he openly admitted he smoked a lot of dope at the time as well.
Oh, did he?
I guess you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he smoked dope.
Wow.
And in the film, anyway, I was curious, so I said I'd have a look at it. And future TV Hulk, Incredible Hulk star Lou Ferrigno was also...
Always obsessing with the Hulk.
was also in Pumping Iron.
Go on, yeah.
Because I like Lou Ferrigno, he's nice.
You do.
But the treatment that he got from Schwarzenegger all through the training, because they were in this big... where would they have been, Mark?
I think it was in New York, in Gold's Gym, I think, if I remember correctly.
The psychological and mental torture that he loaded on Lou Ferrigno beat him in the competition before he entered the competition. He just picked on him because I reckon he figured...
What competition's this? The Mr. Universe one? In real life, not in the film?
Yeah,
right,
Mr.
Right.
Well, Pumping Iron is based on the...
Yeah, it is,
Mr. Universe.
But was Lou Ferrigno in the film Pumping Iron?
Yeah, sure. Oh,
even though he actually really did compete against him in the real Mr. Universe?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. But he had psychologically dismantled him. Before he ever did, because he must have recognised...
He can't have been very smart, Lou Ferrigno, if he was psychologically dismantled by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So I think Schwarzenegger is smarter than people realise.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, he's an incredible businessman.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
there are lots of stupid businessmen who've got loads of money.
Hey, listen, this is literally a peasant who landed from Australia in America.
Austria
To become governor of California. Before that, one of the most major movie stars.
Yeah, oh, massive. He was
a major movie star for a guy who really couldn't speak English or remember his lines or anything else, or had no real acting talent.
But he did get to be Mr. Universe through being quite large, so he did have... That as a springboard.
That was well. I mean, he had the perfect body. That was the achievement there. I think he probably deserved to win it. But the movie thing, that was pure determination and brains.
Yeah, I mean, but he did. Like I say, he got a bit of a springboard.
And brains. You do, Schwarzenegger.
And brains. yeah. No.
Okay.
But yeah, go on.
I finished off on me, Arnie.
You've peaked, have you?
Peaked too soon.
I think you peaked too late. Right, all right, so that's it for that one. I wanted to also point out, back to London again. Did you know that the landlords in London are evicting tenants all over London currently?
No.
Yep, there's a massive problem. They were on the news the other day. Shelter, a homeless charity, was saying that they're finding they've got a massive influx of people coming on saying, where am I going to live? My landlord's just given me a month's notice to get out. And they're kicking people out so that they can rent out their flats for 4 times the regular rate during the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
But these people live in there. They've got schools that their children go to, and they've got jobs that are nearby and things like that. And the landlords are kicking them out en masse, thousands of them.
Hey, just say now that I could be renting a property for 7 years, 5 years.
Yeah, they kick you out.
And they're suddenly coming along saying, oh, off you go.
Yep, if you're near the Olympic Village or somewhere that people want to be, they're kicking them out. Where they're going to go, I don't know, because they're all kicking people out. Nobody's letting people in.
People in rural areas and country areas don't realise what it's like living in the city of London. If you've lost your home, or wherever your little house or little room is sometimes all it happens to be.
That's all I've lived in when I lived in London.
Okay, that's all you've got. It means everything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Your little place where you stay is the most important thing, because I'm telling you, if you're in London, you're out on the street.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I say, I've been... Well, homeless in London anyway.
Go on, tell us about it, Mark.
Do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, why not?
Not really.
Go on.
I worked for food, basically.
Yeah,
I worked... It was kind of white-collar working for food. I was fixing computers for food.
You just sort of got in a car from Yorkshire and landed down in London, didn't you?
The day I got my driving licence, I just got in a car and drove away and just didn't go back. And... when I got there, I initially had a place to stay, but then that sort of dried up, and then I had no place to stay, and then I basically ended up sleeping around the back of a computer shop on a Z bed that a customer donated when he found out I was sleeping there, and washed myself down in cold water every day and scrubbed myself down on that lot, and I would get a meal from the people in the shop for fixing computers because they couldn't afford to pay me.
That's what people don't know. Living in a big city, you're so lucky to have your little room or whatever accommodation. It means so much.
Well, I managed to scrape together a little bit of money doing odd jobs, and I rented a room in a flat somewhere in Acton, I think it was in West London.
Yeah.
And I got enough money together to convince him that I had enough money to keep paying him. So I paid him like 2 weeks' rent in advance or something, and then another week's rent. And I didn't actually have much more than that. I had like 300 quid to my name, which I'd earned through doing odd jobs and saved. And then I then got a job handing out leaflets at the World Travel Fair, I think it was, in Earl's Court.
Oh, wow.
For 3 days.
Ooh.
At 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
And that got me a good few quid. And then I was applying for lots and lots of jobs.
I hope you didn't drop any of the leaflets there in Earl's Court, did you?
I didn't drop any, no.
It wouldn't be a safe place to bend over and pick them up, you know.
The exhibition centre.
You know about Earl's Court and its reputation, I take it. I'm
getting a reputation from the way you're talking about it, yeah.
Sorry, go on. Freddie Mercury used to live there.
All right. Anyway, so then I got a job in a bar on Brick Street as a dancer.
Why was there no... Hey, why was there no double yellow lines outside of Freddie Mercury's house?
Go on.
Nobody would bend down and paint them.
Oh,
did you ever hear
that's
that?
Just crap.
That's crap, isn't it? Yeah.
That is just crap.
Okay.
Freddie Mercury is a god anyway. I'll have no words spoken against him.
Oh, he's great. Well, he's dead with a long time.
Well, he is brilliant, but he is also dead.
You a Queen fan?
I like Queen.
Me too.
Yeah. Do you know who is also brilliant? Professor Brian May.
Eh?
Professor Brian May.
Eh?
Did you not know he was a professor? I knew you were going to say that. He is a bona fide astrophysicist now.
He's not the only one.
No, there are other astrophysicists. It's not a unique...
He's not the only musician who's an astrophysicist.
Yeah, Professor Brian Cox.
Who's Brian Cox now? Just from
He is all over the BBC. He's the guy... He talks like this, and he's done documentaries where each grain of sand on this beach represents millions of stars. He talks like that.
Is he a musician?
He was the lead guitarist, I think, in D-Ream.
Well, I've got to talk to you...
Not D-Ream. What was that band? Things Can Only Get Better. The Labour Party used it for their thing.
I don't know.
Only Get Better.
Might be D-Ream.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, he was the guitarist in that.
You're making me think of Mike.
He's an astrophysicist.
Mike Nesmith of the Monkees.
Not heard of him. Is he an astrophysicist?
Yes, actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he discovered the
Go on.
Copernicus theory. About something about the sun doesn't travel around the earth travels around the sun.
No, that was Copernicus himself. He discovered that 1400 years ago or so.
Did Mike Nesmith mention it?
He may have mentioned it, but so have everybody who went to school since then.
Okay, another urban legend about Mike Nesmith.
Wow.
Another one.
Do you want to just keep digging?
Why didn't you just play along? Why'd you have to,
Because everybody other than you knew that was just nonsense.
What about his...
Anybody who went to school knew that.
What about his grandmother inventing Pritt stick?
You're just making this crap up now. You are. That you're making this up.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah, and his sister invented dogs.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. It wasn't Pritt stick, it was Tippex. Okay?
Oh,
She did.
No way.
His grandmother invented Tippex.
Why do you know that, and why... That's just that.
Let's Google it and find...
Oh, no.
Okay, I'll write it down for next week.
Right, yeah.
Mike Nesmith, Tippex.
Oh, seriously.
Speaking of Brian May.
Yes. Professor Brian May.
Professor Brian May. Eric Clapton.
Yeah, also astrophysicist. Also invented Pritt stick. He invented Yoo-Hoo stick.
You're ruining my continuity.
Slash invented superglue 3.
I was segueing nicely because you brought up a guitarist. Who should talk about, Willis? Brian May.
Yeah.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
You name any great guitarists.
They all invented glues. Jimi Hendrix, Tyler Adhesive.
Play some music. Play some music.
Just gonna play some music while we get back to normal. Well, that was Crescendo by my friend Rick Van Man. Didn't play it the all way through. We managed to compose ourselves.
Brian May.
Yes.
Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah. Adhesive specialists.
You name any famous guitarist, and they will
invent some kind of glue.
They will say that a major influence.
Yes.
Was a guy called Robert Johnson.
Right.
He was a blues singer and guitarist. He died at the age of 27.
Right.
He was. This is where the Legend of the Crossroads came from. But all of them, for some reason, were fans of Robert Johnson.
What's the Legend of the Crossroads?
Legend of the Crossroads is where Robert Johnson went.
Yeah.
He did a deal with the devil.
Right.
To become a great guitarist.
Didn't they just rob that plot for the Jack Black film?
Oh boy, no, Jack Black.
The Peak of Destiny.
Jack Black robbed that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
From the legend. This legend goes back to about 19. Yeah. Well, he died in 1938, so it would have been in the 1930s at some point. But this is the guitarist.
That's probably where it came from then.
This guy is the guitarist of the guitarists.
Right.
They all pay kudos to him.
Right.
And the legend was he went to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil. And what they say was, and something about this, I know from a musician's standpoint, well, some people say I'm a musician, but from a guitarist standpoint, that he went away. He was a fairly average guitarist to bad.
Yes.
He was always making a racket. People said he was terrible. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And he disappeared for a couple of weeks and came back as a completely different musician. He was. He went from terrible to great.
Did he take up coke and heroin or something while he was away?
That's not what did it, but I can tell you something. With the best teacher in the world, you could be a fairly average to bad guitarist, and you could get good in about 6 months to a year.
Right.
You could get really amazingly good.
Right.
Not in 2 weeks. Something happened that
maybe he was faking being bad.
Well, this is the legend, and this is the guy that all of the guitarists love. But that is probably the first and earliest example of the devil and rock and roll, or blues.
Yes.
That you'll ever come across.
Blues is kind of the predecessor to rock and roll.
This guy, Robert Johnson, and anyway, when he did start recording, he started recording all these weird songs.
Right.
Like, I've got a hellhound on my trail, sold my soul to the devil, and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
He seemed to be in constant worry all of the time.
Very strange.
Yeah. I thought you were going to queue up some Robert Johnson.
No. I'm going to queue up last week's Mystery Voice.
It's not copyright, because it's back to way before 1930.
That don't matter, we've explained this already.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do the Mystery Voice.
Listen to the voice. This is last week's voice. Well, last time's voice.
Tell anyone?
Listen to the man.
I'm supposed to. I have a gun.
Shall we say who it is?
You say who it is.
It's Christopher Walken.
In a movie about...
Christopher friggin' Walken.
About somebody who's lost some time. He doesn't know what's happened, and it seems that he's been abducted by aliens.
Aliens. Communion.
I just need to point out something. I was
go on.
I was actually mid-story when you brought in the... what's going on there?
I got bored.
Evidently.
I figured if I was getting bored, everybody else was getting bored. You were nerding out on guitarists.
I hadn't even got to the...
It was guitarists and glues.
Do you remember the Karate Kid?
Unfortunately, yeah. What was his name? Ray something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, am I true? Is this true that he? Am I true? Is this true that he was actually? He's playing a 14-year-old kid, Ralph Macchio.
That was it, Ralph. Yeah.
In the Karate Kid, in the first one, but he was actually about 25. Is that true?
I think he was older. Yeah. They usually are. They usually find people who look younger.
It's like that school in Ireland who had a Nigerian kid in it what would it be, second year or something. He'd be about 14, 15.
Yeah.
And it turned out he was actually 25.
Why was he in school?
He had just frauded his way into school.
Any reason why you'd want to go to school at 25?
Meet babes. I don't know.
Meet underage babes. You're going to get locked up for.
No,
yeah.
no. Well, I don't know. He's going back for his education, I guess. But it's a weird story.
I've not got a mystery voice this week, but I've got mystery music. Shall I play the mystery music?
Go on then, mystery music. Okay.
If you're a proper nerd, you'll get this. Go on. Here it comes. That's it. If you're a proper nerd, you will get that.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. The Karate Kid made a film based on the Crossroads as well, the Crossroads legend. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Now, hang on a minute.
Go ahead.
You play a guitar.
Yeah, sure.
Have you invented any adhesives?
No. Have I stuck any up my nose? No. Have I glued
Did you invent sellotape?
Have I glued my fingers together? Yes, several times. Have you got this day in history or a top 10?
Yes, I have. Okay, on this day, right, okay, let me just bring up my calendar to make sure that my continuity is right. On this day, the 13th of May.
Let's check the satanic calendar.
Yeah, you do that. People who were born today. Daphne du Maurier was born today. Famous writer? Anybody?
What did she write that makes her so famous?
Oh, now you're asking.
Okay, don't worry.
I can't remember the names of any.
Okay.
Was it Bleak House? Did she write Bleak House?
History of superglue.
Yeah. Joe Louis.
Boxer.
Boxer, born today.
He fought Muhammad Ali, I think.
Yeah. Jim Jones of the Johnstown Massacre cultist,
That's
born
so
today.
Exciting.
I thought you'd like that. You like your cults, don't you?
I do. What a great film.
Is there a film of it, is there?
There's a film of it, there's a documentary of it, and people don't remember Jim Jones.
I don't remember him either, but I saw it and I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, I'm going to absolutely go.
You make a note of that and babble on about it until I cut you off next week.
I'm doing Jim Jones next week.
All right.
Okay.
You know who else is born today? Somebody I like. Stevie Wonder.
Oh, he's great.
Stevie Wonder's fantastic. Yeah, I like him.
We've got the same taste in music.
Do you know who I like more than Stevie Wonder? Ray Charles.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Charles is magnificent.
Hit the road, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Georgia.
Deaths. Gary Cooper. He's the only one I could think of that I'd even heard of. Actor. Long since had his day and
he's well forgotten
gone.
now, isn't he? Yeah.
He was the only one. The others I'd not really heard of too much. Events, though. We've got some good events today. 1981, they shot the Pope.
Not permanently, though.
Well, they did permanently shoot him, but he didn't permanently die.
That's the Pope, I must say, as a Catholic, we all liked.
Really?
John Paul. He was a nice guy.
Well, he was less Nazi than the one you've got now.
He was the opposite to the Nazis. This is a Pope that actually fought against them.
Well, he was a Polak, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So them and the Nazis traditionally
absolutely
didn't really get on.
Yeah.
1846, dyslexia kicking in. United States declares war on Mexico.
The Alamo and all that kind of thing.
One would assume so.
I must say, I'm not strong on that.
No, my American history is not brilliant.
I think they gained a lot of Texas from Mexico.
All those Spanish names would make me think that they probably did, yeah. 1880, Thomas Edison tested the first electric railway.
Electric railway?
Yeah. I'm not convinced about that, because I think the London Underground is older than that.
How interesting.
Yeah. And that's electric. Unless it wasn't electric at first. I can't imagine it not being. You'd choke.
It was hardly steam underground, was it?
No. I don't know. I have to look into that one. 1917. Now, you're going to like this one. The Miracle of Fatima.
1917?
1917.
They saw a statue move or somebody bled or...
Jeez. What? As Catholics go, you are crap.
I am the worst Catholic you've ever met, aren't I?
You're rubbish. There was I think it was three children.
3 children saw the...
They were given secrets, 5 secrets, 6 secrets, 4 secrets, something like that.
Hold on. Father Malachi.
Yes.
He was interviewed there before his death, he knew what the secrets were. The secrets have remained a secret, but apparently he knew.
There's a video on YouTube where they tell you what they are.
Oh, okay.
They didn't really seem all that important to me, to be honest.
No, well, I don't know.
1927. It was Black Friday in Germany. I assume that's when their stock market collapsed. Was that leading to the Weimar Republic?
I reckon, yeah, it was definitely.
Probably was about that time.
About it, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't elaborate where I read this, but there you go. And that's all I've got for on this day. fairly reasonably uneventful day, unless you're a pope or you live in Fatima.
Holy cow, have you got a top 5 or something?
I've got a top 5. I'm going to give you my first top 5, which, to be honest with you, I think I probably... Well, I'm going to peak later. I'm not going to peak too soon on this one, put it that way. I wasn't really keen on this one, but I'm going with it anyway. Right, here we are. Top 5 brain farts.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll just let you go with that.
Yeah, top 5 brain farts. What's a brain fart, people are thinking to themselves? I get the definition to be something which makes you... forget what you were doing or just chuck a spaz mentally, basically.
That's like every
most things for
10
you.
minutes on this show.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do these in this order. Number 5, doors.
Forgetting to open and close them?
I think it's just opening them.
Okay.
I think it's something to do with your brain not understanding that everything just changed. All of a sudden.
Do you forget how to open a door? Is that kind of...
No, when you go through a door, you see a new room.
Uh-huh.
But you see it all of a sudden.
Okay.
And it makes your brain... That's why you go through a door and you forget what you went through the door for and that kind of thing.
That happens.
Because everything just changed on you. And your brain's thinking, wow, I've just woken up in a new world. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Number 4, beeps. Beepy sounds.
They drive me mad. I hate them.
Yeah, apparently your brain can't process them.
Mine can't.
You don't know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Sends your brain into a spaz. Number 3, photographs. This is a weird one. Your brain apparently, specifically you, your brain apparently can't tell the difference between photographs and reality. And it starts processing it, thinking that it's a real person that you've met.
That is me, isn't it?
And it thinks that you should remember this person and where they were, and you start projecting yourself into the photo and into the memory of somebody else and all that kind of stuff. And your brain struggles to process photographs in any kind of relevance. It thinks they're real.
It's not lame. Go on.
Go on. Number 2, phones.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the same thing. Can't quite work out that they're on a phone. You think that they're there.
Your brain is telling you that the person is in the room.
I imagine if you lie to somebody on a phone, you would probably still exhibit the same body language, for example.
Yeah, and you probably make the same hand gestures, and you smile. You smile and you wink at thin air because there's nobody there.
Yeah. Number 5, number 1, this is the weird one, wheels. Apparently, when wheels spin at a certain speed, they appear to be going backwards. On film, you'll see it, certainly. Yeah. But certain wheels at certain speeds will appear to go backwards to the naked eye as well.
They do, yeah.
And apparently that is a bit of a confuser for your brain.
I've noticed that.
It wasn't a great top 5.
It's not bad. It's better than none.
Yeah.
It's better than mine.
It's not as good as my proper top 5. Have you got a top 5?
Yes, no, I haven't. But look, basically,
go on,
basically what happened to me was...
You can't turn up without a top 5.
It's not that. It's just that it's more like a top 20.
Oh, well, brush over them then.
But
do the best one. The best ones.
What I've got written here is top 5 bad Disney films.
Wow.
And then I've just given up and written all of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like my films with animals in them from the other time. They're all bad.
Well, we're talking there about the computer who wore tennis shoes with Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that there was 3 sequels to that.
Wow.
Which,
That's bad.
And then Herbie was the next torturous.
Oh, there's millions of them.
And there's millions of them. Yeah. So, all of them.
Yeah.
There's too many to choose from.
There really is.
Now, I'm talking about the live-action films back in the 60s and 70s. Now,
yes.
Your average Disney film, modern one, I quite enjoy.
I suppose they're all right if you're 6.
Am I a bit confused, though? Is it my favourite film is... One of my favourite films is Toy Story.
Yeah.
All-time favourite films. But that's not actually Disney, is it?
It's Pixar.
Pixar is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's my top...
I think I liked it better when you were on Glue. Top 5 TV channels. Now, I was thinking I wanted a TV channel that was something repetitive, like, say, the Landscape channel, where you only have one thing to look at, just one thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, I want top 5 TV channels that only show you one thing all the time, right? Now, some of these are quite good. Some of them are... I'm not even sure about the order even, because I like them all. Number 5, a TV channel made up of a slideshow of the faces of ex-girlfriends just after you've dumped them.
Oh. It's mainly me getting dumped.
Yeah, other than you. They've got the sad look, the angry look, the distressed look, and you can just scroll through them and think, wow.
Thoughts on that? Next. Bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah. Number 4, this was a no-brainer for me, Nyan Cat TV.
Okay, we played it last week.
We played it last week, Nyan Cat, non-stop on TV. It just cheers you up.
Okay, yeah,
it's
I can
nice.
see that, yeah.
That, the girlfriend's one is, that's quite cheery. But the Nyan Cat one, that make you smile a little bit.
If you know what Nyan Cat is.
Well, they will if they go and Google it.
Okay.
Okay, number 3, 2 dogs having sex, one of them stuck inside the other. That is so funny.
I try to separate.
Some people pour boiling water or cold water on them.
I did.
Not boiling, cold. That's bad.
I tried to separate 2 dogs.
Yeah, apparently that's not good for them. And as you'd imagine, if you're stucking somebody else, the last thing you want to do is pull out in a hurry.
How do they get stuck?
They swell up.
Was that what it is? But
Yeah.
I'm
not sure which one swells up.
I had that with 2 dogs, and I tried to pour cold water. It didn't work. It had no effect at
it
all.
just makes them angry and yeah.
Yeah, embarrassed.
But it's so funny to watch. I'd watch a TV channel with that on.
Okay.
Number 2.
Keep going.
2. Now, I really don't like cats. And number 2 would have been the continuous sort of deaths of cats. People shooting cats, turning them inside out, making them into rugs. That would have been my ideal, but I might have got complaints. So, as a animal-friendly version for number 2, I'd like to watch a TV channel with cats swimming all the time. Because cats hate being in water.
That's what's just about.
And I can watch them and think, you hate every second of that, which makes me happy. And I could just watch them swimming around with this angry, awful, despicable look on their faces.
This is the perfect evil TV station you're describing here.
These are funny. These are brilliant.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Number 1, no-brainer. Everybody would think of it. Politicians in stocks or being flogged or tortured. All of that kind of thing.
That.
I could sit and watch that all day.
I'd enjoy it.
If I could get various prime ministers and presidents and things, get them in some nice kind of stocks or an Iron Maiden or something, I'd probably take up smoking just to stub my cigarettes out on them.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's my top 5 ideal TV channels. What do you think of that?
I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless.
What do you think about... What do you think about smallpox in blankets?
What I think about smallpox in blankets is, shall I go? Do you really want me to answer?
No, you tell me.
Okay.
You tell me about
it's the earliest, the earliest example I know of germ warfare is when the cavalry gave blankets to the Native Americans laced with smallpox, so they would get smallpox and die out. Would I happen to be in any way correct at all in saying that?
Do you know what you are?
What?
You're a victim of an urban legend.
I don't think so.
There's one instance of it. It did happen, but it only happened once.
According to which Wikipedia page you read?
A Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm.
I read a number of sources, and they all reckon it only happened once.
Well, I did too.
Not really warfare when it only happens once. You shoot one person, that's murder. You shoot 1,000, that's warfare.
I know where you're going, because to me, I wanted to find out, was that really true? Because I felt it was important.
Yes.
And, one particular page said there was only one instance, but then 10 pages said there was more than one instance.
I don't know.
And the pages I read would have come from the Native Americans, because I have a lot of Native American friends.
I imagine that's not true.
But
they're too choosy.
I am friends with several Native Americans.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Really?
In fact, I have my own Native...
Who? You've got your own Native American name, have you? Oh, really?
Not yet, but they're choosing one for
really?
me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that.
You autistic hunting dog. Yeah.
You say there's only one instance. And I did that too. I read one page said there was only one instance, but then, 20 pages would say there was more than one instance.
Well, I only read one. I don't do details.
Okay, all right.
I just do anecdotes.
I reckon it was more likely that they would have used more than one blanket on one American.
It's possible they may have done it more than once. Yeah.
Go on.
Have you got anything else there?
Let's make up something really quickly.
Or shall I start on my mega massive list?
Oh, yeah,
I've got a separate list here I had to print out separately.
Oh, wow, do the mega
There's
list.
17 pages here.
There was one more thing. It's not particularly... that's hardly worth mentioning.
Go on, do it.
Just something I noticed. If you go onto YouTube,
Yeah.
type in Turkish Star Wars or Turkish ET
yes, yeah.
or Turkish Rambo.
Turkish Rambo, yes.
Because for some reason in Turkey they didn't seem to like to maybe they
Dub
couldn't,
it or anything.
maybe they couldn't afford to bring the films in, or
Maybe, yeah.
but for some reason they went about making their own version.
They didn't dub it, they remade it. The Indians do that as well.
Their own over-the-top version.
I'll tell you what is funny. I was in, I don't know where I was, Egypt, I think it was, when Star Wars The Phantom Menace came out. And I've got a picture of it somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
They have these big billboards like they do anywhere else in the world, but they're all hand-painted. And they're crap.
Oh, God.
They're not like the official Phantom Menace one. I assume maybe they don't pay for them or something. I don't know.
It's
but they've
cheaper
got,
to get some bloke to paint them in
hand-painted billboards
India.
that say the Phantom Menace, and they've got the guy on there, but he looks not quite right.
Really?
Yeah, it's all not really that good. It looks like somebody in school or something painted them.
Well, all of the movies at one time, like Creature from the Black Lagoon and all that stuff from the 50s, there's one particular artist who did most of them. He was a great artist. Can't remember his name or anything else like that. But
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What about the case, I think it was a few years ago, 2011 actually, a boy emerged from the woods in Germany with amnesia, said that his dad had died and his mother had died in a car crash and he'd been living in the woods for years. Do you remember that?
I don't, but it sounds like a feral child story.
Well, he basically, he couldn't remember anything, and he said he'd been there for 5 years. He emerged from the woods in Germany, but he couldn't speak German, but his English was perfect. But they reckoned that he had an accent from, where was it from now? Oh, jeez, I'm trying to catch up with it here. He had an accent from, I think it was Serbia or somewhere like that, but they reckoned that his English was too good to be from England, because he hadn't picked up any slang or anything like that. Let me see. They reckon, ultimately, that he hadn't lived in the woods for that long. And they reckon he was... some people said he was an immigrant. I'm just reading through it here. And he was just trying to get basically a deal to stay in the EU. Because I assume Serbia maybe weren't in the EU back then, or something, wherever the hell he's from, I'm not sure. But what is most interesting is that why would he say that he'd had amnesia... which started 5 years ago, because he reckoned he could remember the last 5 years, but he'd been living in the woods. But his amnesia started 5 years ago after this incident. So he had to make up 5 years' worth of history. The easiest thing to do was say that you got amnesia this week, if you're going to make it up anyway.
If you were making it up. Yeah.
So that is quite weird. But there isn't actually an end to that story, to be honest with you. It's very strange. Get this, though. This is weird. Some people have said that he's Hitler's clone, boys from Brazil.
Wow.
This is weird. The Germans are keeping him in custody at a cost of €7,000 a month, right? And they've said there will be no more information forthcoming on this case. And he's not been charged with anything, but he's in custody.
And why not?
What the hell's that all about?
Yeah. That's a bit...
Isn't that weird?
That reminds me of these two Swedish ladies on the motorway who ran into the traffic.
Yeah.
And one of them was hit by a car and got up, ran around, and was then hit by a truck and then proceeded to get up again. And the police couldn't hold her.
Wow.
It's on YouTube. There's been a BBC film about it. She's like a superhuman. Wow. And they did get her into custody, and they held her for a while, and they let her out, and then she wandered around, and some kindly gentleman let her into his house, and then she stabbed him. Oh. But I think she served her time, but she hasn't been let out. She's disappeared. She's still in custody.
One of those ones,
She had served the time, yet they're still holding her. What's going on there? This lady actually lived in County Cork for a while in Ireland. It's quite an interesting piece of footage.
A proper mentalist then.
Well.
Right. Another one. Somebody in Galveston in Texas, for a number of years now has been burning down palm trees. Just palm trees. right? Specifically just palm trees, individual ones. And they're all, this is the weird thing, they're all Washingtonia robusta or Mexican fan palms. They actually must know something about trees because they're only doing one particular tree. Anything louder. But yeah, that is pretty much the end of that mystery. Nobody
He's
really
just burning down palm trees.
Palm trees, yeah.
He just doesn't like them.
Random ones. And he's burnt down hundreds of them.
Does he think they're doing some harm to the atmosphere or something like that? Is there some logic?
Just a grudge.
Just a grudge against palm trees?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, here we are. Now, this is a good one. You're going to like this one. In France, there are I'll tell you the story, right? Some police in France, they went on a training exercise in the catacombs beneath Paris, beneath the streets of Paris, right?
I know about this.
And they found there's a building site that said no access on it. Do you know this?
No, actually, maybe I'm thinking.
All right.
Come on.
And they found a tunnel, right, underneath a desk, and it led down a little tunnel somewhere, and there was CCTV set up in the tunnel looking at them, right? Let's see, and that was it. Yeah, there was dogs barking they could hear, but they turned out to be a tape. And what they found was an elaborate, fully functional underground movie theatre with a full-sized cinema screen, chairs, and terraces carved out of the rock, and a quality film collection of classics and recent thrillers. They also found, Nazi link, Schwarzeneggers, Celtic crosses, and stars of David painted on the ceiling of the whole place. They called in the bomb squad to evacuate it because they found a big fat metal object covered in wires, which turned out to be a couscous maker, which is all very weird. Then, I'll cut to the chase. They found so many other weird things to do with this, and it's a group called UX, U-X.
Yes,
right?
yeah, okay.
The UX group or something, I've no idea who they are. Let me just get rid of this. And basically what they do is they've been doing secret renovations and building stuff in secret for no real reason, to be honest. And what they did is there's a clock in Paris Parthenon, apparently, and it's guarded and everything else in some sort of museum, I think. And they've been breaking in every night for years and restoring this clock.
Nice.
And they restored the clock, and they broke in the museum every night for years, or at least months, and they restored this clock to fully functional status. And then somebody at some point realised they've got a thing here. Ux's restoration branch is called Untergunther, and they've got no interest in restoring things unless it involves sneaking around. But the bloke who is the administrator over this Parthenon, so it's a museum of some sort, when he found out that they'd fixed the clock, he broke it back again to break it on purpose and took away parts and hid them so that they could never fix the clock again.
Why?
What a moron. But what is that all about? Now that's a mystery.
It's strange.
There are a bunch of elitist, weird restorers.
It wasn't... Yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, they're doing something positive.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It wasn't the story I thought you were going to tell when you mentioned underground tunnels in France.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Well, I first discovered this when I was, years ago, playing the Medal of Honor game on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
There's just a part of the game where you go underground, you go under this tunnel, and all of the walls are lined with skulls and bones.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it.
I thought, wow. You see, it's unfair to do that after the story you just told. That is very unfair.
Go on.
Because I feigned interest in that entire 10 minutes about the clock.
Right, go on.
And I didn't dare put on the tumbleweed.
Go on. You were telling us all about your game you were playing.
Yeah, the game. And in the game you go underground. You go underground in wartime France.
Yes.
World War II France, and all of the walls are lined with skulls and bones.
Yeah.
And I said that can't be real. This meant to be based on reality.
Yeah.
There is such a thing underneath the city.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Catacombs?
Catacombs.
Yeah.
And the walls are lined with skulls and bones.
Ah.
It's
like Cambodia or something.
It's real.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's underneath Paris.
Does it go back to the Revolution, maybe? Is it the skulls of the bourgeois or something?
Crikey, they
bourgeoisie.
They must have killed a lot of them.
They killed them all.
Well, it's a lot.
They did a really good job.
A lot of skulls.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you say a really good job.
Well,
over to you.
I've got another one.
Because I see you're keen.
Yeah, yeah. We've not got long left. I'm going to push one more in there. This one is a funny guy. This guy, his name is Shagan, I think it's pronounced. All over America. He's been doing this in multiple states. 28-year-old man sneaks his way into football games, American football games. Pretends to be a journalist, the manager from the opposite team, a student, all sorts of stuff. Comes dressed in sometimes the local uniform, all sorts of stuff, and persuades the players to give him piggybacks.
Why does he want piggybacks?
He's been doing it for years, apparently.
He sounds like
he's been doing it for years.
It sounds like the movie Catch Me If You Can with the guy.
Yeah. He weighs 240 pounds and he cons his way into loads of restricted areas and he rides them all like donkeys, it says here. I got this from, I think it was crack.com. He's been banned from attending all sports events in 5 states. He's been arrested on assault charges and a lot of other things, but he always makes bail, apparently. And there's a picture of him there, look. I'll show you, look.
Oh, yeah.
He's got like a basketball thing on there for the Cats team. I'm not sure where the Cats are from.
So he just pretends to be somebody important.
He pretends to be somebody, yeah, and sneaks in and basically gets a piggyback ride and then leaves.
I've done that rather unsuccessfully.
Yeah. I've got one last one. Have you got something, Jonathan?
Cram it in. No, go ahead.
I'm going to cram this last one in. I've got loads more. I'll do them next time. Spiders. The 2009 to the 2010 Mazda 6. Spiders like that car. The yellow sack Spider. They're to be found in the 2009 to 2010 4-cylinder Mazda 6 evaporative canister vents. They don't know how on earth they got there. They think there might have been an outbreak somewhere on a production line. But it was such a big problem, Mazda recalled 65,000 cars to decolonise them.
Could they have affected the driving or the effect?
Yeah, they said it could potentially cause fuel leaks or even engine fires.
Perhaps a fire, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I recall something about cars getting...
It's just one particular car from one year.
It's funny though because it's not an engine fault; it's spiders.
Spiders, yeah. So yeah, they recalled 65,000 cars for spider faults. Spider faults.
Wow, another gripping episode.
I've got loads more of those.
Oh God Almighty!
I've printed off a load of them.
Don't tune in next week.
No, please do. Why not? It's cheap. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. www.alternativefutureradio.com.
Go on.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Is it going anywhere, this?
Kind of and kind of not.
Oh, go on then. You're going crescendo. Why don't you?
It was 1975.
Yes.
And it was about a UFO abduction, based on real events, may I point out, and they'd been brought to hypnotists and that kind of thing. And
yeah.
It was all recorded, they were hypnotized and they went through what had happened individually, independently of each other, and gave the same details. I mean, they've still been called frauds and everything else.
Yes.
And delusional. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, under hypnosis.
Yeah.
Okay? But the main actor, I think, is quite interesting, was James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones? He played the postman.
Future voice of Darth Vader.
Ah, yes. I'm James Earl Jones.
Yeah. So moving on from that.
Yes.
Yes, there was another thing. I knew it was going somewhere.
Oh, go on.
I knew it was going somewhere. From their descriptions.
You realised you have got a point.
Oh, God, yeah.
God help us.
I've just read it here.
God save everybody. Basil's got a point.
From the alternative to the mainstream, from the ridiculous to the sublime. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basil and Mark.
Super smooth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Good morning, Basil.
I was going to say good evening, Mark, but good morning will be fine.
Morning, evening, it's all good. Nobody knows what time it is
just
anyway.
thought with after hours, it's more of sort of an evening affair. And
good evening.
We're kicking our shoes off for the evening and smoking our pipes.
Independently and not in the same room in any kind of homoerotic fashion at all.
Not like Eric and Ernie living
Eric and Ernie, yeah. There was something going on there with Eric and Ernie. A bit like Batman and Robin.
You reckon?
Don't know.
They did sleep in the same bed.
They did.
There was Eric and Ernie.
Did Batman and Robin sleep in the same bed?
No,
right,
no. Eric and the other two were classified as homosexual. Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
Ah.
I think it's now accepted that they were.
Yes.
They were in a relationship.
That is the consensus. Good grief.
Okay.
Right, we've got...
Bill.
Yes.
What was unusual about them? Not only were they coming out, at a peculiar time, 1961 America, to say that they'd been abducted by aliens. Now, they didn't particularly go public. They didn't really want a media storm, but, it happened.
Yes.
And also the thing about them, they're an interracial couple.
Ah.
So Barney was actually...
in 1961, that would probably still have been quite unusual, would it?
Yeah, oh gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I suppose it would have been, wouldn't it?
Barney was a postal worker.
Right.
African American. And Betty was a social worker.
Oh.
They claimed to be abducted by aliens in New Hampshire on September the 19th to the 20th, 1961.
Yeah.
Returning home from some vacation or something.
19th of the 20th?
19th to the 20th. So at some point...
What month?
September.
Oh, have you checked the diary?
No, because this is UFOs. This is totally... I'm not going to bring this satanic calendar into this one.
'Tis the autumn equinox, but carry on.
Oh, well, fair enough. And the film then that came out a bit later that I saw was called, unsurprisingly, the UFO Incident from 1975.
Yeah. We've got a little group of things here, some funnies. I've got some on this days, I've got some topics, and I've got 2 top 5s. I'll let you start.
Well, Paul Gershio from Project Merlin, we spoke to there on the last show during the week.
Yes. Continuity. Recently. He
dug up a memory in me.
Did he?
I had
a regressed childhood memory.
I had
Does this involve a man with a dog collar?
He regressed me.
Oh, right.
To my alien abduction experience.
Oh. Go on.
Lived through the medium of television through completely other people in a movie that I saw when I was a kid.
What a loser. Go on.
Based on the UFO incident of 1961.
The UFO incident? That's not very specific.
It's called the UFO incident. And I think it must be one of the first... I think it's one of the first times that anybody went public to say that they had been abducted by aliens.
Go on. We're gonna get some people on the main show actually to talk
we've
about
had
abductions.
A very special message from a very special lady.
We've had a very special message.
Do you want to mention that before I go?
No. We'll just leave it.
Well, the UFO incident happened in 1961.
Mm-hmm.
It was an American couple called Betty and Barney.
Point.
God save the Queen. Listen to this.
Go on.
This is 1961. From their description of who abducted them.
Right.
There was an artist called David C. Baker.
Ah.
A friend of Paul Gershio, our friend Paul Gershio.
Yes, we heard mention of him.
And the illustration was is now famous as the Grey.
Yeah, he defined, or should I say they defined, and he drew the first picture of the classic grey alien.
And this is the very first description of the alien grey.
I'd say that particular sketch is worth a small fortune if you could get your hands on it.
Oh, I'd say so. So when I say grey, ladies and gentlemen, what I mean is a little grey, puny body and a giant head and the big black eyes.
Almond black eyes and the teardrop-shaped heads.
Boy, thanks for that, Mark. Well, also, yes, James Earl Jones went on to play the voice of Darth Vader.
The voice, but not the actual Darth Vader. That was the Green Cross Code man.
Exactly. What have you got on your block,
I
Mark?
can't remember the name of the Green Cross Corpsman. Can you remember his name?
Yeah, David Prowse.
David Prowse, that was it, yeah.
One of the tallest men in Britain.
Was he really?
Was strong man. He was a strong
He
man.
was, yeah. Do you know what I've got?
God, anything. Save us.
I talked last time about the MI6 incident thing in London, where the guy had put himself in a bag. You mentioned it just before we came on air.